विष्णुपादपरमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज की
जय।
ओम विष्णुपादपरमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की
जय।
गौड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
रामाचार्यदास ठाकुर की
जय।
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
जय।
जय गो प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल।
Think you have to go up. One second. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
भगवते
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shift. Yeah. Krishna, sorry for the break. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 6, Conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva, and today's verses 33 to 35. So we'll read 33. Pragayada
Yadha
Viryani
Sabirani
Tirthapada
Tirthapada
Priyashrava
Priyashrava
Ahuda
Ahuda
Va
Iva
Me
Me
Gram
Sigram
Darshanam
Darshanam
Yati
Yati
Ta
Cheta
Pragayada Swaviryani
Pragayata Saviryani
Tapada Priyashrava
Tirthapada Priyashrava
Da Iva Me Shigram
Ahuda Iva Me Sigram
Darshanam Yadi Chetasi
Darshanam Yati Chetasi
Pragayada Swaviryani
Pragayata Saviryani
Tapada Priyashrava
Tirthapada Priyashrava
Uda iva me shigram
Ahuta iva me shikram
yadi chetasi
darshanam yadi chedasi
tada yada swaviryani
praghayada suvidyani
tapada priyashava
tirthapada priyashrava
Uda iva me shigram
ahuta iva me shikram
nam yadi chetasi
darshanam yadi chedasi.
Jamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Pragayada Swaviryani Tirthapada Priyashrava Ahuda Iva Me Shikram Darshanam Yadi Chedasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Pragayadasva Vidyani Tirthapada Priyashrava Ahuta iva me Shikram Darshanam Yati Chetasi. Hare Krishna.
Melinda.
Hare Krishna. Pragayata Shvaviryani Tirthapada Priyashravaha Ahuta Iva Me Shigram Darshanam Yati Chetasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Snigdhamaji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय प्रगायतः स्ववीर्याणि तीर्थपादः प्रियस्रवः आहूत इव मे शीघ्रं दर्शनं याति चेतसि. Synonyms: pragayatah, thus singing, swaviryani, own activities, tirthapadah, the Lord whose lotus feet are the source of all virtues of holiness, priya sravah, pleasing to hear, ahutah, call for, iva, just like me, to me, sigram, very soon, may, to me, sighram, very soon, darsanam, sight, yati, appears, chetasi, on the seat of the heart. Translation: the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart, as if called for as soon as I began to chant his holy activities. Purport: His Divine Grace, ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. The absolute personality of Godhead is not different from his transcendental name, form, pastimes, and the sound vibrations thereof. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in the pure devotional service of hearing, chanting, and remembering the name, fame, and activities of the Lord, at once he becomes visible to the transcendental eyes of the pure devotee by reflecting himself on the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. Therefore, a pure devotee who is related with the Lord in loving transcendental service can experience the presence of the Lord at every moment. It is a natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. That is a natural instinct, and the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, he is not an exception to this psychology, because psychological characteristics visible in the individual souls are but reflections of the same psychology in the absolute Lord. The only difference is that the Lord is the greatest personality of all and absolute in all his affairs. If therefore the Lord is attracted by the pure devotees chanting of his glories, there is nothing astonishing. Since he is absolute, he can appear himself in the picture of his glorification, the two things being identical. Srila Narada chants the glorification of the Lord not for his personal benefit, but because the glorification are identical with the Lord. Narada Muni penetrates into the presence of the Lord by the transcendental chanting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 34. Edat
Etat
Edat
E
E
Aturachittanam
आदुरचित्तानां
Aturachittanam
मा
Matra
Matra Sparsha
मात्रा स्पर्श
Sparsha
Sparsha
Ichaya
Ichaya
इच्छया
Mu
Muhu
Bhavasindhu
Bhavasindu
भवसिन्धु
Plava
प्लवा
Plavo
Drashta
दृष्टा
Drushta
Haricharya
Haricharya
हरिचर्या
Anuvarnanam
अनुवर्णनम्
Anubarnanam
Edadhi Aturachittanam
Etadhi
एतद्धि आदुरचित्तानां
Matra Sparsha Muhu
मात्रा
मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छया
Matrasya
Bhavasindhu Plavo Drishto
भवसिन्धु प्लवो
Bhavasindu
दृष्टो
Prabhu
Chelyanuvarnanam
हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
Etadi Aturachittanam
एतद्धि
Etadhi
आदुरचित्तानां
Praspashechayamuhu
मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
Bhavasindhu Plavo Drishto
भवसिन्धु प्लवो दृष्टो
Chelyanuvarnanam
हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
Etadi Aturachittanam
एतदि आदुरचित्तानां
Praspashechayamuhu
मात्रा स्पर्शे
मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छयामुः
Bhavasindhu Plavo Drishto
भवसिन्धु प्लवो दृष्टो
Chelyanuvarnanam
परिचर्या
हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम्
Hear you?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी एतद्धि आदुरचित्तानां मात्रास्पर्शेच्छयामुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् हरे कृष्णा
Jai Shri Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय एतद्ध्यातुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शे क्षयामोः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् हरे कृष्ण
Snigdha Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Etadhyatur Chittanang Matra Sparsheshaya Muhu Bhava Sindhu Plavo Dushto Haricharyanu Vandnanam Hare Krishna
Right. Mirinda Maji.
Hare Krishna. एतद्धि आतुरचित्तानां मात्रस्पर्शेच्छयामुः भव सिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् हरे कृष्ण Etar, this, he, certainly, Atura Chittana, of those whose minds are always full of cares and anxieties, Matra, objects of sense enjoyment, Sparsha, senses, Ichchaya, by desires, Muhu, always, Bhava Sindhu, the ocean of nations, Plavaha, boat, Drishtaha, experienced, Hari, Charya,
Plava.
Plava,
Krishna.
sorry, what is that, Prabhuji?
Can hear now. Yeah, there was a break in between.
Okay. I don't know. I couldn't hear you. Yeah. Okay. Hari Charya, activities of Hari, the personality of Godhead. Anuvarnanam, constant recitation. Translation: it is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nations on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Purport: by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. The symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such as sensual activities, do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for satisfaction. So, Narad Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of dying men, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord Himself. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artists, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates like the gopis and Lakshmis. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, by His causeless mercy, descends to the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of the worldly men, but at the same time extraordinarily because He is Almighty. Because He is Almighty, He does so for the benefit of all conditioned souls so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of nations, the source of all miseries. This is stated from personal experience by such an authority as Sri Narad Muni, and we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow in the footsteps of the great sage, the dearmost devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
35. Yamadibi
Yamad
Yabadibhir
Yogapathai
Yogabadhe
Kama
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 Lobha
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 Hatha
Ato
Hava
Hata
Hada
Moho
Mu
Muhu
Muhu
Kunda Sevaya
Mukunda
Mukunda
Sevaya
Seveya
Yat
Yet
Tatha
Tatha
Atma
Atma
Adha
Adha
Na
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 Shamyati
Shamyat
Shamyadi
Yamadibi Yogapathai
Yamad
Yamadibhir
Yogapati
Yogabadhe
Kamalobha Hado Muhu
Kama
Kama Lobha
Muhu
Lobha
Sevaya Yadvat
Mukunda
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 Seveya
Sevaya
Yadvad
Yadva
Atmadhana Shamyati
Tadhatmana Shamyadi
Tathātmana Samyati
Yamadibir Yogapathai
Yamad
Yamad
Yamadibhir
Yogapati
Yogabadhe
Kamalobha Muhu
Kama
Kama
Lobha
Mahato
Muhu
Moho
Sevaya Yadvat sorry Mukunda
Mukunda
Sevaya Yadvat
Mukunda
Mukunda
Sevaya
Seveya
Sevaya
Yadvat
Yadvad
Yadva
Atmadhana Shamyati
Tadatmadhana
Tatatma
Shamyadi
Yati
Samyati
Yamadibi Yogapathai
Yamadi
Yamadibhir
Yogapati
Yogabadhe
Kamalobha Muhu
Kama
Amalo
Lobha
Mahato
Muhu
Moho
Kunda Sevaya Yadvat
Mukunda
Mukunda
Sevaya
Seveya
Yadva
Yadvad
Atmadhana Shamyati
Tadatmadhana Shamyadi
Yati. Prabhuji, you are
Hare
not
Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, we can't hear you.
You can hear me?
No, Prabhuji,
No, not audible.
it was not audible a while
You are
ago.
not audible.
Sorry,
Okay, no
We
problem.
dedicated
not
to a sound.
muted.
Let me chant the purport, no?
Yeah, you can read. Melinda Maji
Yeah,
can
yeah,
read.
yeah. May I? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yamadibir Yogabadai. Kamalo Bahado Muhu. Mukunda Seveya Yedva. Tadhatmadhana Shamyadi. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Okay. Jai Shri
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yamadibhir Yogapathe Kamalopo लोभः तोमोहो मुकुन्दसेवया यद्वत् तथात्माधा न शाम्यति। हरे कृष्ण।
Melindamaji.
Hare Krishna. Yamadibir Kamalobahato Muhu Mukunda Sevaya Yadvat Tata Madhana Sashamyati. Hare Krishna.
Snigdhamaji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यमादेवी युगपथे कामलोभहतो मुहुः मुकुन्द सेवया यद्वत् तथात्मधा न शम्यति। May I read the sentence?
Yes.
Yama adibhihi, by the process of practicing self restraints, yoga pathe, by the system of yoga, mystic bodily power to attain the godly states, kama, desires of sense satisfaction, lobha, lust for satisfaction of the senses, hataha, curved, muhu, always, mukunda, the personality of Godhead, sevaya, by the service of yadvat, as it is, tatha, like that, atma, the soul, adha, for all practical purposes, na, doesn't, samyati, he satisfied. Translation: it is true that by practicing restraints of the senses by the yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul, for this satisfaction is derived from devotional service to the personality of Godhead. Purport: His Divine Grace H.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yoga aims at controlling the senses by practice of the mystic process of bodily exercise in sitting, thinking, feeling, willing, concentrating, meditating, and at least being merged into transcendence. One can control the senses. The senses are considered like venomous serpents, and the yoga system is just to control them. On the other hand, Narada Muni commented another method for controlling the senses in the transcendental loving service of Mukunda, the personality of Godhead. By his experience, he says that devotional service to the Lord is more effective and practical than the system of artificially controlling the senses. In the service of the Lord Mukunda, the senses are transcendentally engaged. Thus, there is no chance of their being engaged in sense satisfaction. The senses want some engagement. To check them artificially is no check at all, because as soon as there is some opportunity for enjoyment, the serpent-like senses will certainly take advantage of it. There are many such instances in the history, just like Vishwamitra Muni is falling a victim to the beauty of Menaka, but Thakura Haridas was allured at midnight by the well-dressed Maya, and still she could not induce that great devotee into her trap. The whole idea is that without devotional service of the Lord, neither the yoga system nor dire philosophical speculations can ever become successful. Pure devotional service of the Lord without being tinged with fruitive work, mystic yoga, or speculative philosophy is the foremost procedure to attain self-realization. Such pure devotional service is transcendental in nature, and the systems of yoga and jnana are subordinate to such a process. When the transcendental devotional service is mixed with a subordinate process, it is no longer transcendental but is called mixed devotional service. Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, will gradually develop all these different systems of transcendental realization in the text. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
Chakshurummedidam Yena Tasmai
ज्ञानामृतमयि श्रीगुरवे नमः।
Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Mahyam Dadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapatakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Irupam Sagarjadam Sagana Raghunadanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishagamidam Sam Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale
Bhutale.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Vashabhanavi Devi Daityaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnanadayine Prabhave Namam Madhuryo Jala Premadhya Shrupanuga Bhaktidam Gaura Gaurna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastude Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Deenatarini Rupanuga Viridhava Siddhanta Dvanda Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshal Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambujaye Te Namaha Nama Om Bhakti Vinodaya Sakshal Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Surupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhavu Mestam Nideshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sadhudomo Shri Jagannadaya Te Namaha Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha H.I. Goshai Kori Charan Bandhan Jamote Vignanash Abhishta Puran Vancha Kalpadruvesya Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam
Patijanam Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavabhyo
Vaishnavabhyo
Namo Namaha.
Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvashe Namam Anjatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Surubhadam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktiyam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Gopesha Gopiga Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Jayadam Surdo Pango Mama Mandamade Gadi Mas Sarva Savadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Jayadam Surdo Pango Mama Mandamade Gadi Mas Mohanam Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrimada Srimad Ratnagra Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Shira Govinda Dev Veshtarivi Sevyamano Smarami Sriman Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vadattarasiddham Kashan Menusme Govi Govinada Shriyetunam Taptaganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusude Devi Pranamame Haripriye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Chaitanya Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shadvaita Radharam
Srivastadi
Srivasadi
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram.
Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram.
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Pragayada Swaviryani Tirthapada Priyasvaam Ahuda Ivame Sheghram Darshanam Yadi Chetasi The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart as if called for, as soon as I begin to chant his holy activities. So, Narada Muni is now explaining his present life in this kalpa after he received the spiritual body in the previous kalpa due to mercy of Krishna. He entered the body of Garbhodakaya Vishnu through Brahma, and in the next kalpa, in this present kalpa, he appeared again through Brahma, through the transcendental deliberation part of Brahma, which is his best part, along with 9 other rishis. So it was stated that Narada Muni was the best of the sons of Narada, because he was preaching pure devotion service, while rishis like Marichi and others were concentrating on Karma Yoga, and Sanatana Sanat Kumara was transcending on Brahman realization. But Narada Muni was so transcendental that he was the only person, only son of Brahma, who was really liberated in the sense that he was not only detached to the material miseries, but was very much attached to the devotion service of Krishna, which is the symptom of real liberation. Because simply being detached from material world does not mean that you are truly liberated. This will be explained in these verses, coming verses now. So Narada, Sri Narada could easily travel between the spiritual and material worlds. He could travel all the material worlds, the lower planets, middle planets, upper planets, as per his will. And he can travel the spiritual world also. Yes, Mataji Manindamaji?
Yeah, I had one question on the four Kumaras. So they were focusing on Brahma Jyoti. They were not much inclined towards Krishna. But when they went to meet Jai Vijay and they
Yes.
actually saw Krishna, then they became
Yes.
Krishna Bhaktas, right?
You're right. It is given in the third canto, I think 15th chapter, verse number 43. Because they smell that flower, Tulasi flower,
Mhm.
on the lotus feet of Krishna. And when that entered the nostrils, their impersonal, impersonal attitude was overcome by this devotion service, and they became devotees. But generally, they are accepted as Brahmavadis.
Okay.
Even Bhagavatam also accepted as Brahmavadis only. But it's true that they were subsequently converted devotees. Right. So, Narada, that was your, I mean, it was sort of a statement only, no?
Sorry, Prabhuji.
It was a statement, no? That they became later devotees.
Yes, Prabhuji. They became later because it's every time it is said that they were not devotees. So, but actually they became devotees,
They
right?
became, later they became devotees.
Okay.
Although their status, because if you look at Upanishad and all that, a few of the Upanishad, I think, Chandogya Upanishad or Aranya Upanishad is spoken by Sanat Kumar Dasa to Narada.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So then after in this kalpa, after having this spiritual body, he was always engaged in singing the glories of Krishna, and Krishna had presented him with a veena called Devadatta, and this Devadatta being transcendental because of Krishna's producing only transcendental sounds, and the music that emanated from the veena was also transcendental, and so also the words composed on this music and these vibrations was also transcendental because it was glorifying Krishna only. So everything should be used in the service of Krishna, whether it's music, painting, whatever form of art. If it is glorifying Krishna or describing Krishna or picturizing Krishna, they become transcendental. It is the purpose to which what activity is dovetail that determines its nature, whether it's material or spiritual. If we are describing by our words Krishna's glories only, instead of glories of some other persons, our words become transcendental. So Narada was always 100% all the time chanting Krishna's glories, and he sang nothing else but than Krishna's glories. So he says that in his present sloka, whenever he sang of Krishna, immediately Krishna appeared in his lotus heart, in his heart. Brahma Samhita also supports that Premanjana Churida Bhakti Vilojena Sandas Sadeva Hrideshu Vilokayandi. Because the name of Krishna, his pastimes, his person, his dham is not different. So the devotee always experiences presence of Krishna at every second. He's never separated from Krishna at any point of time. Although he may be in the material world or away from the presence of Krishna. So devotee generally, although they long for personal service of Lord, they are not too much bothered even if they are separated from Krishna, because in that separation their love intensifies and they always sing of Krishna and sing his glories. So for them it becomes more relishable. And Krishna is very happy because his pure devotees are singing his glories. And Srila Prabhupada in his purport says that every man, every person always love to hear his glories. If somebody else is singing his glories, we are very happy. It's not only natural, it's a psychological thing only. Because we are very happy when somebody is talking nicely about us, glorifying our deeds, activities, our qualities. If somebody does that, speaking about us to others, we feel very happy. Krishna is also like that. Krishna always likes to be glorified by his pure devotees. And this is actually, this emanates from Krishna only. All these things are because Krishna likes to be glorified, we also have imbibed his qualities. Since everything is coming from Krishna only, Am Sarvasya Prabhava Matta Sarva Pravartate. So everything is coming from Krishna. All qualities, everything is from Krishna. So if somebody likes to be, so living entity likes to be glorified, it is actually coming from Krishna only. The difference is that Krishna is absolute, all his qualities are absolute, and his glories are also absolute. So there's no way you can exaggerate his glories. Yes, again, Melinda. Yes, Maraji.
Sorry, Prabhuji, one more question.
Please.
But what about negative qualities, Prabhuji? Where do they come from? Like jealousness or hatred? Where does those qualities come from?
In Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see that they're describing the different parts of the body of the Virat Rupa.
Mm-hmm.
This jealousy and other coming from the backside of Krishna.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because jealousy and all that is part of what Tamogun, isn't it? Tamogun and Rajogun. And Tamogun and Rajogun is coming from Krishna only. All those modes are coming from Krishna only. External energy. It is separated from Krishna. Although it's coming from Krishna, Krishna is not in them. That we have to understand. It is coming from Krishna, true.
Actually, Prabhuji, it is from Maya.
No, Maya is Krishna only. No, it's an external energy.
Yes.
This is energy. Maya doesn't have an independent existence. Everything is coming from real Mayas. If you think that something is not connected to Krishna, that is actually Maya. Krishna very clearly says in Bhagavad Gita that 7.13 that Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama
Maya Durattaya. Ye yatham.
So everything is coming from Krishna only. So this is coming from his Shaktis, energies. And energy, this inferior energy is called external energy, Bhairanga Shakti, and others from internal potency. Krishna personally is always situated in his internal potency.
Okay.
So that's a good question. So actually everything's come from, so Krishna loves to be, but Krishna is absolute. And everything coming, and there is no question of being exaggerated. But in our case, sometimes, most of the times, all our qualities are exaggerated. Somebody say, "Oh, you're wearing a very nice shirt. Oh, this shirt I've never seen. Nobody's wearing that. It is the best shirt in the world." All these things they will say. Is there any truth in that? But we love to hear this. But in Krishna's case, however you speak all his glories, nothing, it is not sufficient. Like we have this say that Ananda, Lord Ananda is always glorifying Krishna through his innumerable thousands and thousands of hoods, so many kalpas together, but still is not finished. Isn't it? Siddhamaji, you have that, you know that, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you are glorifying. Ananda Shesha is glorifying continuously, still continuing to glorify Krishna. In
Yes.
Brahma, glorification of Brahma, he says that you can count somebody may be able to count the atoms, the total atoms in this whole material universe, but you will not be able to count the glories of Krishna. So that is why Krishna is, when you say absolute, means there's no way it can be compared. It is unlimited. But Krishna loves to be praised. Like we have example of this, this how Jagannath came, the form of Jagannath came into being. Krishna loved hearing Rohini Mataji narrating his pastimes in Vrindavan, especially with Radharani. Krishna becomes very ecstatic, and that ecstatic form is Jagannath only. Right, Signavaji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ecstatic form of Krishna is Jagannath only.
Actually, she was telling to Subhadra and Jagannath Balabhadra, they hide and they listen everything in the ear, expanded ear. So they become, eyes were big and the form
Yes,
is like this.
yes. Because of ecstasy only.
Yes.
So Jagannath is always engrossed in Radharani, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Radharani is always engrossed in thinking of Krishna. So that is why this combination, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always preferred to stay in Puri, because the relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath is so intimate and intense that nobody can fathom their relationship. So that's why Puri is so special for devotees, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Lord is attracted by the chanting of fear. If we are also saying Hare Krishna, although we may be tainted, we may not be very pure and all that, still Krishna likes to hear this. So go on chanting, Krishna loves it. That feeling says then it will be an inspiration for us, impetus for us to chant more. So Naradaji is encouraging us to chant more and more. One day we may be also pure, maybe this birth or many births, whatever it is. At that time we can relish what Narada Muni is relishing now. So in verse 34, it says, Edadhi Aturachittanam Matra Spashe Chayamuhu Bhavasindu Plavo Drishto Harichedyanu Varnanam. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of God. So Naraji, who is having so many experience because he's always interested in uplifting the downtrodden jivas. So many downtrodden jivas are his disciples. So his personal experience with innumerable souls, and he has seen that why these souls are suffering, because they are always attracted by some kind of happiness which is temporary, fleeting things, and they consider these temporary and fleeting things to be permanent, and they go after that. The senses, we are always looking for sense objects which are temporary in nature. But we don't know actually this temporary nature because we are so engrossed in it. Why we are engrossed in it? Because there is a desire. And who is having this desire? The soul is having the desire. So the soul cannot remain desireless even for a second. So my Bhagavad Gita says very clearly, Nahi kashchit chanam nahi jadu tishtadi agarma na kashchit chanam abhi jadu tishtadi agarma. A kshanamavi means a fraction of a second. Even for a fraction of a second, the soul cannot remain inactive. According to a philosophy of Advaitavada, they say that the soul is inert, desires is coming from Prakriti only. But that is not true. Their desires transcend desires also. In its original nature, Satyakama, Satyasankalpa, the devotee, the soul is desiring service of Krishna, transcend desires, say, but in the conditioned state, he is under influence of Prakriti, which is gunas, and in the state of gunas, his desires are material only. So in that conditioned state, they are going after one object, one sense object, another sense object continuously, without stop. And he is not receiving any satisfaction at all. Otherwise, he will not go for different objects. If he is satisfied one sense object, he will remain there only. But that is not so. It is not giving satisfaction. So different sense objects, which ultimately leads to misery only. Verse number 22, I think, 22 of 5th chapter very clearly says, Yam hi samspashya bhola dukkha yone evate. This sensual pleasures is actually a source of misery only. Adyandavanda kaundeya niteshu ramate.
Nateshu ramate buddhaha.
So from beginning to end, it is giving you misery only. But still we are going after that like mad. Because we don't know where the actual happiness is. We are searching for happiness, but in the wrong place. So Narada says that, okay, you don't have to change your the what do you call, the thirst for the pleasure. The thirst for pleasure is always same. You don't have to change the thirst. You cannot do that also. You cannot quench that thirst. So only change the object, subject of the object of attraction. And that object of attraction is Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita says, Param Drishtva Nivartade. Param Drishtva Nivartade. Nivartade does not actually mean stopping. You cannot stop senses. Nivartade actually means engaging. You are engaging senses to object of ultimate attraction, which is Krishna, which gives you the ultimate pleasure, Rama. So instead of trying artificially to stop the senses, which will not work at all. You're trying to stop the senses, it may be quiet for some time. But the very next opportunity, in a given opportunity, it will spring like a serpent. Because senses are always to be engaged. Because behind the senses is a desire, and behind this is a life, and life is a jiva only. Jiva is life with consciousness. You cannot separate consciousness from jiva, and Shankaracharya made the mistake of separating jiva from consciousness, or rather consciousness from jiva, and tried to argue that only consciousness exists, which is wrong. You cannot segregate this. So jiva means life is from spirit only. And when there is life, there is desire. So you cannot stop the desire. So instead of talking about so many unworthy persons who are prone to die, Here, all of us are prone to die. We will die. The Martya Loga means inhabited by people who are dying, who are destined to die. We are all destined to die. So, what is the big point in glorifying those people who are destined to die? So, glorify instead Krishna only. Instead of relation activities of cinema artists, Srila Prabhupada says, sign artists, or some philosophers, or some great politicians who are destined to die. Glorify Krishna only. And Krishna, when he manifests in these material universes, he does activities which may be superficially look to be activities of ordinary man. But again, he is doing such great things. Amanusha, this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says Amanusha. Sahayogena Bharata, it says, I think first chapter itself, Kridavan Kila Karmani, Saharamena Keshava, Adimartyani Bhagavan, Bhuda Kapadamanusha. 1.1.20. Lord Krishna, the personality Godhead, along with Balrama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. So instead of glorifying mortals, glorify Krishna only. In the fourth canto, when Prithu Maharaj is being glorified by courtesans, Prithu Maharaj says, why are you glorifying me? I've just appeared now. And how can you know that I'm going to perform this kind of activities? So please do not glorify a person with qualities which are not existing, or may exist after some time, may manifest sometimes. Yes, Damaji?
Yes, Prithu Maharaj, Prabhuji Prithu Maharaj wished to thousands of years to hear the glorify of Lord.
Yes.
He wished to have thousands of years.
Yes. What I'm speaking is that when he was manifested through the body of his father by the master sages, he appeared along the step, and then courtesans came and started glorifying his deeds. But he then said, I have not done anything. Then how can you glorify me? So you can glorify a person only as per his qualities, as per his activities, as per his pastimes, leelas, etc. But then the courtesan said that you are Supreme Personality Godhead, you are done in previous times also, and now you are bound to do it again. So we are glorifying you. The point is, you should not try to corner glories which are not belonging to you. But in case of Krishna, it's not like that. It's absolute. So you can glorify Krishna always instead of other persons. So that is devotion. When you are glorifying Krishna with all your heart, that activity is devotion, and with that devotion, you can easily cross the samsara sagara. This is the best way because the soul is totally satisfied. It's very clearly given in that sloka, 2.6 in the sloka. Talking about paradharma, verse number 6. Savai pumso paradharma yatho bhakti
Adhokhyaje. Ahetuk apriti hata bhakti ruchi.
yayatma suprasidadi. Yes. So the soul is totally satisfied only when it is serving Krishna only. That's the only way soul will be completely happy. But next verse says that, okay, there are some other processes also, like yoga, mystic yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, etc., which is given next verse. Yamadivir yoga pade kama loba hado muhu mugunda seveya yadvat tadatmadha na shamyadi. It is true that by practicing restraint of senses by a yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to soul, for this satisfaction is derived from the devotional service to personality of Godhead. So you can control the senses with some great difficulty by Ashtanga Yoga, by speculative knowledge. You may be able to do that, but not for long. Because as mentioned previously, we have to understand the desire belongs to soul only. It is not, desire is not Prakriti. It's not from Prakriti, it's from soul only. It is manifested in the Prakriti through mind, yes, when you are in conditioned state. But the real desire activity is coming from the soul only. So you cannot stop, silence the soul. You cannot make it inert. It is bound to spring to life all the time, anytime. So simply by restraining senses, the process is not very sound. It may yield some result. But here it's also, we have mentioned, Vishnu Chakra says, even that also, this Yamadivya also, that yoga, mystic yoga and knowledge, it is to be mixed with devotion only, that to be successful. Because it is very clearly said in the beginning of this yoga, Naishkamyam abhi achyudabhava orjita, na shobhade jnanam alam niranjanam, kudapuna shashut abhadram ishvara, na charpidam karma, yadavi akaranam. Even the stage of jnana without bondage of karma is not glorious if it is devoid of bhakti. The stage of jnana, which is free from bond of karma, is not very glorious if it is devoid of glory to Supreme Lord. Then what is the use of having destroyed ignorance? What is the point? Your destroyed ignorance is going to give you any satisfaction? Thinking that we are free, there is a verse also we quoted previously, thinking that one is free from this miseries, and your Brahman realize, suppose you are not accompanying the chariot of Lord when Lord comes out to meet the people, namely Jagannath Yatra. If you're not accompanying chariot, then you are bound to fall again. So that much for jnana. And then what then to speak of kama karma, sakama karma, which causes suffering both during practice and the stage of perfection. That is sakama. The nishkama also were not offered to Lord. So this yoga pade, jnana and all that is actually mixed devotion only. So Narada says this is not a Muganda Sevi Yadatma na Shami. It will not be as effective as pure devotional service. So Vishnu Chakravarti says that the pure devotion can be divided into three. These three types bhakti is there. One is Kevala Bhakti, pure devotion. Then mixed bhakti, this mixed bhakti, Mishra Bhakti. Mishra Bhakti is of two types. Where bhakti is predominant is called pradhanya. Pradhani bhuta or pradhana bhuta. Pradhanya or pradhani bhuta. When the bhakti is predominant. When bhakti is secondary, or with the subordinate activities like karma, jnana and yoga, then it is called guna bhava. So kevala bhakti, pradhanya bhakti and guna bhava. So Narada says to Vyasadeva in our previous chapter, in verse number 5, chapter number 5, verse number 8, that you are not sufficient to describe the glories of spotless Krishna because your mind could now be satisfied with Vedanta. I think the writings of Vedanta Sutra is insufficient. So, although Vedavyasa had written Vedanta, had compiled Vedanta Sutra, still he was not satisfied because it is not pure devotion. So, Kevala Bhakti is described in that verse. And then Pradhanya Bhakti means mixed Bhakti with Bhakti as a predominant factor. It is called Pradhanya Bhakti, mixed Bhakti. It is illustrated in Srimad Bhagavatam, this first canto, chapter 5, verse 36. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavat chigilsasak asagat grinandi gunanamani krishnasya anusmarandisha. When those engaged in karma continuously perform those activities according to instruction of the Lord, they also chant and remember qualities and names of Krishna. So those who are engaged in Krishna karma, it's verse number 8 will say that Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyasha. So in Karma Yoga, though you are engaged in karma, most of the time you are thinking of Krishna, remembering his Krishna, remembering his instructions, remember his names, chanting his glory in his names. And that is called Pradhana Bhakti. Pradhana Bhakti. Pradhana Bhuda Bhakti. Is Bhakti's dominant factor. And Gunabhava Bhakti, Bhakti is a secondary factor, is illustrated in 1.5.35, previous sloka. Yadatra kriyade karma bhagavat paritoshanam jnanam yatta adhinam hi bhakta yoga samanvidam. That jnana which arises from karma, which is pleasing to the Lord because being offered to him, is endowed with bhakti. So when you do the karma, jnana is produced. And jnana is produced because there is a mixture of bhakti is there. And Krishna is pleased that the person has achieved the jnana. So here, bhakti is a secondary factor. More importance is given to jnana and karma. So that becomes Gunabhava Bhakti. But Kevala Bhakti is practiced by Nirapeksha Bhaktas. So there are three classifications of Bhaktas also. Sanishta, Parinishthita and Nirapeksha. Sanishta Bhakta is a Gunabhava Bhakta. Parinishthita is Pradhanya Bhakta. Pradhanya Bhakti, Pradhanya Mishra Bhakta. And Nirapeksha Bhakta means pure devotee. Kevala Bhakti. Kevala Bhakti is also called Nishkama Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Nirguna Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, Akinchana Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, etc., which gives Prema. Now, the difference is given. What is the difference between this Kevala Bhakti means Akinchana Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, and Pradhanya Mishra Bhakti and Guna Bhakti? In case of Uttama Bhakti, it is Prema only, the highest of the realization. We are endowed with Prema. In case of Pradhanya Bhakti, it's called Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Jnana is mixed with Bhakti, Karma is mixed with devotee. It produces some kind of rati, and Krishna is realized in Shanta Bhava, in Aishwarya Bhava. And if you are associating with some devotee, it may go up to Dasya Bhava. So this is the extent up to which this Pradhanya Mixta Bhakti can attain. It can go up to maximum Dasya Bhava, which are feelings of reverence, Aishwarya Bhava. And in case of Gunamishra Bhakti, where Bhakti is secondary and Karma, Jnana, and Yoga are the predominant factor, then it produces only liberation only. So we can see the difference. The first type of bhakti, because even in this verse, the Yamadhi, Yoga, etc., Jnana, whatever it is, there should be a small portion of bhakti involved should be there. Depending on the amount of bhakti involved, the devotion is divided into three: Guna Bhakti, Pradhanya Bhakti, and Kevala Bhakti. So the status or the achievement attained, the position attained by this Guna Bhakti is liberation. Pradhana Bhakti is up to Dasya Bhakti, Dasya Bhava, and pure devotion, the Kevala Bhakti, is go up to Madhurya Prema. So that is why Nada says that, okay, you can have some kind of liberation, or you can go up to some kind of relationship also, but that will not produce the best result. When you render pure devotion service to Mukunda, that is a result is totally different. The results cannot be equated. So Srila Prabhupada says, when the transcendental devotion service is mixed with the subordinate poses, jnana, karma, and yoga, it is no longer transcendental, but is called mixed devotion service. The mixed devotion service, as per Vishwanath Chakravarti has said, that two divisions are there. And then Srila Vyasa, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, will gradually develop all these different systems of transcendental realization next, which is the 12th canto. In the 12th canto, he will give in detail all these mixed devotions. But here, Vishwanath Chakravarti has really given the total details is there, by which we can understand that the soul will be satisfied only it attains a prema only. So our goal should be prema only. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any question? Any more? Are you hearing me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Right. Snigdhamaji, you can render nursing.
Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Praladaladaini, Hiranyakashipurvakshaha, Hiranyakashipurvakshaha, Shilatanka Nakhalai, Ito Narsingho Parato Narsingho, Yato yato yami tato Narsimha, Bahir Narsimha, Hridayir Narsimha, Narsingham Adi Sharanam Prapade, Tabakara Kamalabari, Nakham Adbhuta Sringam, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanubhrangam केशवधृत नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरोहरि जय नरोहरि नरोहरि जय नरोहरि जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 ओम उग्रं वीर महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्यु नमाम्यहं श्री नृसिंह जय जय श्री नरसिंह प्रह्लादेश जय पद्मा मुख पद्मा भृंग सर्व विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की जय।
Right. Nidamaji, do you know this people? Do you know that?
Beautiful.
Right. Very well.
Nice.
Vanchakalpadrivascha.
कृपा सिंधु भयभज पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, थैंक यू सो मच।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.